The Legend of Zelda, possibly one of the most memorable franchises in my entire childhood. Next to Mario Kart, Super Mario, Luigi's Mansion and many more, The Legend of Zelda always managed to grab my attention like no other. The action, exploration and storytelling came in a way that was truly unique to me. At first I thought nothing would ever come close to an experience like playing Link's Awakening for the first time. But boy was I wrong. Whilst Death's Door didn't grab my attention at all in the beginning, like I didn't hear about it until it wasn't an Xbox exclusive anymore, I didn't know what to expect. But as soon as I saw some gameplay, it just got me hooked. I felt like a trip down nostalgia lane was coming up, but it was so much more than just that. Death's Door plays almost identical to an old school Zelda game, but adds some new flair and some own inspiration and ideas to it to make it feel really fresh, yet nostalgic if you played the old school Zelda games. I've said this already, but this game almost feels identical to an old school Zelda game. That's why I think if you're a fan of those or liked Zelda Link's Awakening remake on Nintendo Switch, you'll absolutely love this. It doesn't have as many items as a Zelda game, it doesn't have as many quests or side quests as a Zelda game, but it has so much to offer that it's something fresh, yet familiar. The combat feels fluent and it isn't too much of a hassle to learn. You can dodge an attack and that's basically it. You can also charge your attacks or perform slightly different ones by rolling and then attacking, but it basically boils down to rolling and smashing. This may sound too easy or even boring in some cases, but it's easy enough to be fun, yet enemies and bosses are challenging enough to make you test the boundaries of these mechanics. There are small, helpful upgrades like faster movement speed, more damage or even a bigger swing. These mechanics won't be too difficult to master, but with these slight upgrades you can still feel a bit more power coming out. And that's just for the main attacks and movement. You have different abilities that you'll achieve through the old school Zelda style too. With 4 extra abilities in total, you'll be able to kill everyone past their due date in no time. But then again, your skills with these abilities will be tested too. The overall tone of the game may give you the feeling that you're safe and it's quite easy, but some enemies and bosses are insanely hard until you absolutely master the mechanics of your character. When you just start playing the game and collect some new powers, keep in mind that these can be upgraded to stronger versions as well. They have an extra effect or do more damage. These aren't too hard to miss, but I wasn't paying attention to this and I missed basically all of the ability upgrades up until I finished the main story. These upgrades can be a great help to your soul reaping journey. They are not necessary and not mandatory, but it makes things a lot easier. A game can be a masterpiece without having a great atmosphere, and this counts for Death's Door too. With a premise around death and despair, you'd think the entire feeling and vibe would go down, but oddly enough, even though the art style is more grey toned, it feels vibrant and alive. I mean, some moments in the story and characters are depressing, but due to the light and vibrant art style, on the other hand, right, your character has a lot of pop and colors, some areas are so green you can't even think of the actual grass outside, and the fact that you're a crow and not some weirdo hunting down monsters makes the game feel, I don't know, cute and alive. And that with the game revolving around death. It's unique and it's hard to describe the feeling and the entire vibe that you get with it from playing the game because it's so unique. All NPCs and characters have their own twisted backstory or unique feeling to them, yet they don't seem to care too much about death itself. They all know it's coming, they all know it's there, but they don't really care. The crows are working as reapers and just accept it. Anyone who isn't a boss doesn't give a shit that you kill everything in your path until you get one of the bosses down and have a funeral specifically for them. That's strange. Normally you'd kill a boss, move on, oh everybody's happy, but in this game it actually takes the fact that you just killed a living being and transforms it into an actual funeral for that boss. I haven't seen that before and that made it really unique to me. It's not as rewarding as other games, but it gives a good twist at the end of a fight. Like, you respect one another, even though it's just an NPC, right? Don't get me wrong, but the story itself also just takes place about you collecting souls and killing different enemies because they're past their due date. Which is weird, because normally you'd kill enemies because they're performing some bad act upon the world. But in this case, it's not as bad as some other games. In Zelda games, you need to defeat Ganon to save the world. In this game, you just kill monsters because they are toying with death. They don't want to die, so you have to make sure they will. I don't know, it's a unique story, and it's not a heavy story, but the way that they tell it and the way that they show it is unique. Also, a tip about the story: after you finish it, play more. Restart the game, don't launch a new one, just start it, and there will be a whole new game waiting for you. Not as challenging, not as many kills need to be performed, but it's something else. It's cool, and it's the only way you get the true ending, so keep that in mind. I don't know if this review made any sense up until this point, but that's the feeling I get from the entire game too. The main thing that I want to tell you is that if you're a fan of old school Zelda games, if you're a fan of any action adventure game, this game is only 20 bucks and it will be a blast playing through it. Death's Door is such a unique and fun experience that I highly recommend it to anyone. So why not become a Reaper yourself, collect some souls and perform the upgrades, kill those damn monsters, because Death's Door might be one of the best Zelda-like indie games anyone can ever play. With that being said, this review comes to an end as well, like everything has to due date. I hope you got some insight in Death's Door with this messy review, but do with it what you want. I hope you enjoyed and wish you good luck reaping souls in the near future. See you next time.